again, welcome back to my channel. My name is Stephanie, and in the spirit of summertime and graduation, I thought this video might help some people out there that are currently studying to write their NCLEX. I wrote my NCLEX last year. I studied only for a week and I finished it in 75 questions. So I thought maybe my approach could help somebody out there as well. Essentially, I graduated in April, started working in May, and then I booked my NCLEX for June, and I gave myself a week off of work to study for it. And I know that's not very much time, and I don't recommend that you only give yourself a week to study for your NCLEX. And I also told myself that if it didn't work for me, if I failed for whatever reason, I would give myself a lot more time the next time around to write my NCLEX. Alright, so the first tip I have for you is put away your nursing school notebooks. I didn't need them at all. I didn't look at them once. I only used them to do well through school, and then once that was done, I never looked at them again. Step 2 is get a subscription for UWorld. There's many different subscription services out there that you can use for NCLEX practicing. I personally used UWorld, and I felt like it really prepared me for the NCLEX more than anything else had while I was in school. So with UWorld, I got the subscription that had the 2 evaluation exams. So I took the first one near the beginning of my studying, and then I saved that last one for about, I would say, like the day before my exam. And that really just gives you a good idea of how you're doing, your knowledge, and your chances of actually passing the exam. So that's awesome. And you can also get group subscriptions. I did that in school. Several of us paid for a group subscription. We all chipped in, and that saved a lot of money, especially if you're a poor student like I was. The third step is just to take the time, go on YouTube and look up the Klimek reviews, and I'll link the ones that I used down below. However, he's an official Netflix NCLEX reviewer, so he regularly writes the NCLEX and he knows what's on it. He's very current on his knowledge of what's on the exam. So I recommend looking for a more recent video series if you can find it. And his tips are amazing. Take notes on everything. Everything he says not to study, everything he says to study. I actually had a sticky note wall around my desk when I was studying, and it had lab values, it had acronyms, it had anything that was like a number or really small pieces of random information that I was trying to remember. I remember even writing down a note for gait, like how to teach somebody how to use a walker, which you learn in like the very beginning of nursing school, but the small details are what they'll get you on when you're writing your exam. Every time I went in that room, I looked at it and I was able to remember something new every day too. So that was kind of like little pieces of studying mixed in with my actual structured studying, and that helped tremendously as well for me. Alright, so my study flow for studying for the NCLEX basically was I watched all the Klimek reviews. Once you've watched all the Klimek reviews, I recommend using a platform like UWorld. I used UWorld. I know there's other ones, Hearst Review. A lot of them are probably just as good, but I used UWorld. So I finished Klimek reviews, got my UWorld subscription, and I got the one with the 2 evaluation exams. So I did the first one near the beginning of my studying, just to see where I was, you know, knowledge-wise, and seeing how I was answering the questions as well. And then I studied 8 hours a day. I just did UWorld questions. And as I was answering questions, I would look at my notes from the Klimek reviews. I would kind of go back and forth, reviewing notes I had taken and then answering questions in certain categories on UWorld. I highly recommend for the majority of your studying to have it on random mode so that you really get used to answering questions of all topics as though you were writing the NCLEX. I really recommend that, especially if you're pressed for time. This is a really good approach, I think. Just off the bat, study as though you're writing the NCLEX. So that's pretty much it. That was my studying approach. And then that last evaluation exam I wrote, I think it was the day before my exam. I wrote it in the morning just so I had an idea. And then that predictor turned out to be accurate as well for me. So I did my evaluation, and then another thing too, the night before the exam, or the evening before, just don't study. You're not going to gain any more knowledge by cramming more information when you're panicked and potentially just very anxious like I was. So just relax that night before, I was lucky, we actually had a friend come over and we had some beers, and I actually totally took my mind off of studying, so that was really good. And then for going to the exam, get up early before your exam. Make sure your car has gas in it the night before if you drive, and get to your exam early. Make sure you have all the documentation you need when you're going to write it. I wrote mine last year, so the panini was still happening. And I remember this weird little interaction made me just so much more stressed out about the whole NCLEX experience. And that was, we had to wear surgical masks when we went in to write the exam. And they gave you a warning that if your mask fell down your nose one time, they would give you a warning, and then if it happened again, they would send you home. And I was immediately panicked that my mask that had been working so well for the last several weeks, or that type of mask, that suddenly this one would fall down when I was writing my exam. And I was a very anxious mess when I wrote my exam. So I wrote my exam, and it was set up very much like UWorld, which was really nice because it didn't look like some new platform that I hadn't used, and it was just that little bit of familiarity helped me a lot. And then I wrote my exam, the screen shut off at 75 questions, and then I went outside and I called my mom and I cried, and she's like, "Steph, you passed. If it shut off in 75 questions, you passed." And I was like, but mom, there's like that whatever percentage chance that I did fail, that I did so bad that it shut off at 75 questions. And I had a feeling like there is a good chance I did pass, but then I started to overthink, and I thought about one of the questions. It was a mental health question, and then I answered it obviously wrong. I called my mom, cried, and then I went home. I made an appointment actually to get my legs waxed. That was just like a little treat for myself going into summer, because I had been a poor student all through school and I didn't allow myself to do any nice things for myself, basically. So anyway, I got that done. That was a nice way to take my mind off the exam immediately after the exam. I tried the Pearson VUE trick as well, which basically, there's tons of videos on YouTube about it, but you basically try to reschedule your exam and put in an incorrect credit card, by the way, just in case. But you tried to rebook your exam, and if it doesn't let you do it, then chances are you passed. And there's a very high correlation between people trying this and actually finding out they've passed the exam. Did that, and then I was at work one day and I got an email and it said, "Congratulations, Stephanie, you are now a registered nurse." And I dropped what I was doing and went to the bathroom and just cried. I called my boyfriend. I'm pretty sure I called my mom or my dad, and I just cried in the bathroom. It was just all this stress, years of stress and anticipation and doubt, and it was just all over. And I was a nurse. So anyway, that's my story. I hope this video helped you. And before I go, I just want to add one more thing that is equally as important as your preparation, and that's just having a positive attitude. Just tell yourself you're going to pass. I did that all through school and for writing my NCLEX as well. I just never focused on the thought of failing. I always just focused on, I'm going to pass, and what do I need to do to pass? So positive attitude, and then do the work, and you should be set. You've made it this far. You graduated nursing school. You're smart. You're prepared. You just need to do this one tiny little examination, and then you're done and you're a nurse. And you can move on with your life. You can start working. You can start making money. You can start feeling more fulfilled with a career. There's so many amazing things once you're done writing your NCLEX. And I just send you all the positive vibes and good luck, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if it helped you at all, and I'll see you later. Bye.